So boom, here we get to listen to T.I. and Shaq talk about the state of hip hop and new rappers and how new rappers just don't respect the game and all types of shit like that. Let's watch.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question like people ask me.
Go ahead.
You feel about this younger generation of hip hop like I feel about this young generation of players?
I mean, man, I feel like this generation reminds me of every other generation. You got some people who are exceptionally dope, and you got some people who just all right. You know what I mean? But it's a lot more of it to choose from now.
Too much.
Yeah. I feel
There's so
that.
many rappers now, bro.
Man, I feel that actually, what they've done with music is equivalent to if they were to open up the doors of the arena and say, anybody think you could play basketball, come on in. Well, see, the thing is, what happened is there was what we call a paradigm shift in the industry. And that's like, it went from it went to a direct to consumer industry. So which means you don't need a distributor. You don't need, you don't have to go through
Tower Records.
Best Buy, a
right.
Target, Blockbuster if you that old. You ain't got to do that. You can go straight to a consumer, and the consumer more than likely wants to hear something that reminds them of themselves. Sometimes too much talent intimidates the consumer.
Right.
Because I can't achieve this. I'm not gonna work as hard as it takes to sound like this. This is just, it's you know what? It's overwhelming. I'd rather hear something that sounds like me or my friends. It sounds like something I can walk outside and see.
So I cut Shaq's parts out because, like, who gives a fuck? The nigga be hating on NBA players, and I ain't trying to hear him hate on rappers. And he was trying to get the hater energy out of T.I. So the first thing we're going to talk about is him saying that they open the floodgates. That is true. I've been saying that for a long time. And I'm not even going to go deep on this. I could in another video. But back then, if you look at just being a beat maker or even making a song, you had to book studio time at an official studio, not some nigga's house, a legitimate studio business that someone started up that they paid tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, to get established. Even as a producer, you had to buy a beat machine, and the beat machine is going to cost anywhere from, it's going to be over $1,000 in most cases. So the barrier to entry was much, much higher than now, where you could use your mom's computer and get on Fruity Loops, a crack version, and, just be good. So the game changed with the advancement of technology and the access of technology and the internet. The game changed drastically to where any idea that you have, you can actually do it in your phone on BandLab. The rapper Lil Tyler, who I really like, he actually did his biggest hit, like the one that got him on BandLab, I think that is the name of it, and that's on the phone. So he recorded it through BandLab, and it's a hit. So it is what it is. Now, the second point that he made is that people want to hear something relatable, et cetera, and that's not exactly what he said. He said too much talent intimidates the consumer, which that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That is flat out complete bullshit. That is and I've never seen this used as far as this intimidation shit outside of women saying that, weak men are intimidated by strong women, which is flat out bullshit. It's illogical. It's one of those things to where, same thing with this music thing that he's talking about. It's a cope for people not wanting to listen to certain types of music, or in a woman's case, fuck with certain types of women. It's a cope. So as far as, and don't get it twisted, T.I. is successful. So it's not necessarily, I wouldn't say that it's a cope for him, because he's not even like, I know he's got like the crazy vocabulary and stuff, but he's like a chosen one when it comes to the record labels and things like that. and he's had a great career. He has plenty of hits. He was like the label was putting the budget behind him when it was time to go. And even then, he transitioned into reality TV and all types of stuff, boosted his celebrity. So what I'm saying doesn't apply to him, even though he's the one saying it as far as the cope. People who believe that, it's just ridiculous. Like, nobody's intimidated by any of this music. They just don't like it. They just don't like it. Now, he said talent. When you think of talent, what do you think of? You think of somebody that can make exceptionally good music just off top. Just if we're being general, somebody that can be, that can make exceptionally good music. Now, when you get more specific into that with rap, what would talent mean? It could mean that this guy's rap ability is insane and he could rap his ass off. So just a really good technical rapper, but also, this guy is a really good song maker. He could really just he could really make you feel some shit. Then outside of that, okay, the guy has good beat selection and stuff like that. That's not necessarily a talent, but I guess you could say having an ear for good beats and stuff like that, that could be considered that, I guess. I don't know. But regardless, the end outcome is going to be exceptionally good music when it comes to talent. And if it's not exceptionally good music, if we look at somebody who's a talented lyricist like Lupe, is going to be, something that is lyrically, I don't want to say profound, but just lyrically ridiculous. We'll just say that. So when you look at those two things, let's look at the first thing as far as the music being great and phenomenal and all this stuff. With the music being great and phenomenal, I haven't seen anybody make such great music that people said, man, you know what? This is too good for me to fucking listen to. There's other reasons why they don't want to listen to music that you may consider good. This nigga preaching. I ain't trying to hear that shit. Man, I want to turn up. I don't want to. And this shit is not turned. So it's different things. It's vibe issues. It's whatever it may be. This stuff is not what the masses are into. That's just what it is. And it's not because they intimidated. It's because it's not the wave. It's not what they like. That's what it is. It's not intimidation. Now, when we get to something like Lupe, I get where you could say that people are intimidated. But it's not intimidation. If they can't comprehend it, or for example, you're not if you have to take a calculus course and pass it, that may be intimidating because you're expected to get a result at the end and the pressure is on you. There's no pressure listening to a song. So if I just throw some calculus in front of you and there's no reward for it and you don't get it and you never learn calculus, you can't comprehend what's going on, why the fuck would you want to do it? As where if I put some 2 + 2 shit in front of you, it's not even a question. You're just going to put 4. Your brain doesn't have to process what I just put in front of you. Does that mean that the other shit was intimidating you when there's no incentive involved? No. It just means that you are not capable of, solving that problem or comprehending what the problem even is and knowing how to solve it. That's all that is. And why would somebody try to elevate themselves to listen to music? Niggas elevate themselves to get money. Niggas elevate themselves to get knowledge of self. Niggas elevate themselves to, for a lot of different things. Just even mental health, personal, just all types of stuff. But elevating yourself to listen to music is kind of ridiculous. And a lot of people don't do it. And even then, just to be honest, in some cases, you'll have people who want to solve. They're more compelled to solve that calculus if I put it in front of them. Those people learn from a Lupe thing. They get exposed to something. They hear words that they never heard. They start looking in the dictionary. They start Googling. Like, so it's like that. So it's not necessarily intimidation at all as far as talent, And I'll end it with this, Cassidy on, Math Hoffa, he had a conversation with him, and he has a theory that when you rap about, and this is going to come back to what T.I. said in a different way. When you rap, people like Eminem rap in a way that, number one, people don't talk. And that's, not only with his flow, which is fine if you have a fast flow or whatever, but also with the words he uses and the way he puts words together. There was a point where he did, put shit together like, people talk, but it just got more ridiculous as he got more technical and he tried to be more punchliney and stuff like that. As where Cassidy, when he puts shit together, it's you get it as soon as it comes out his mouth. It's in layman's terms, and somebody could actually say this to you in a conversation. Guess who else raps like that? Drake. He has very conversation-based raps, and the things that he says really strike a chord with people because they're very relatable as far as a lot of the stuff he says. Now, when we look at that, as far as the other side of his example, that's what's going on. That's the difference between a Jedi Mind Tricks, you probably don't know them, or a Mortal Technique, you probably don't know them, or a Tech 9, you probably don't know them, versus a D4L, versus a Gucci Mane, versus, those types of rappers. And people like Kendrick can really balance. I've talked about this in another video. They can balance between that relatable side and that complex side, the easy to comprehend side and all of that. And I'm not going to get deep on relatability, but that's something he kind of alluded to as far, that's what I would look at as the second half of what he said as well. It's just like, at the end of the day, not only do people comprehend some of the simpler music, it actually has something to do with the environment that they live in, with the types of people that they know, just all of that. We could get into the energy, all that shit. And if you go and you take a nigga that's like just trapped out and he just like, all that, not even that, just somebody that comes from where a lot of us come from, and you put some Lupe Fiasco on, if it's not the soundtrack to, the streets or what's going on in their neighborhood and stuff, like, they're not gonna fuck with it. And even then, it's just like, what purpose does this music serve? For example, like, somebody like Gucci and stuff like that, his music goes really well in a car. A part of the culture is like, you driving through the hood, you got your trunk beating, and it's cool to pull up to certain music. You don't want to, like, niggas don't pull up on the block on their friends or just anywhere to the store with the Celine Dion going crazy in the 12s. Niggas don't do that. Niggas don't do that. Now, yeah, it might be a few here and there, but in general, when you get into, if you pick 10 random young niggas out of a lineup, you could even go niggas in their 30s, and then you could even do niggas in their 40s at this point. If you pick 10 of them, and let's pretend they all got systems in their car, bro. You just catch them at a random time. They banging some rap music, there's some ignorant shit, etc., etc. But I'm done with that. Let me know your thoughts. I'm out.